have a couple new options for reusable bags. One, we have a market bag that will be available at Market at the Marquee. We are open from 10 to 3 on Sundays. And to get one of these awesome bags, with a $10 purchase, you will get one for free. We will have these little forms available that the vendors, when you make a purchase, will sign and put down what you spent. When it totals $10, you can turn it in for a free bag. There will also be additional ones for purchase. And then additionally, within different businesses within the DDA, we'll have another bag that they'll be using in their stores. Various advertisers have purchased them to use in their stores. And the last thing I want to mention for the DDA is we have a summertime DDA bingo, and it is coming to a close here at the end of August. So if you haven't participated yet, please do. There are lots of prizes available. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Monique Baker McCormick.
Good evening.
Good evening.
To the Honorable Board. I am Wayne County Commissioner Monique Baker McCormick. I bring you greetings on behalf of the Wayne County Commission, as well as the Commissioner representing Redford Township. Just wanted to give you a couple of announcements. Last year, this time, I gave a community meeting in the community center, and this time around, we're going to be very close, but right on West McNichols, right just west of Telegraph. There is a new building called Developing Kids. They fixed up the building. I don't know if you guys noticed it, but it's really a fabulous building now. It used to be dilapidated, and so I wanted to support that group, Developing Kids, with having the community meeting there. We're going to have a CPR training, so anyone that's interested in coming, the address is 24230 West McNichols. 24230 West McNichols. It starts at 5:30. Also, we are starting our budget hearings for Wayne County. Last year, I also had a budget hearing right here in Redford Township. We have a $2.8 billion budget in Wayne County, and we want you to be involved and know what we're doing with your money. So we will have information on the various locations. We won't have it in Redford this year, but it will be in Livonia this year. On September 16th, we'll have a budget hearing in Livonia, so you can come on out. Also, the Wayne County Civic Youth Council. We're accepting applications. You know, this is a youth council. I started some time ago, and now we're transitioning. The Wayne County clerk and I are partnering to expand it with an elections component. So if you have any young people in the 10th through the 12th grade, you're welcome to have them reach out to my office. The phone number is 313-224-0884. Again, 313-224-0884. We'll actually have a swearing-in ceremony for the youth. A judge actually does that. And a trip to Lansing, trip to DC. It's all about teaching our children how to advocate and have a voice in their community. The last thing, as the president of the National Association of Counties Women's Council, I am actually spearheading a national youth council. So our youth council will be a part of this national board. Thank you, and if you need to reach out to me, feel free. Thank you.
Thank you. Jennifer Mansfield.
Good evening, Honorable Board. I am just here tonight to discuss the very successful National Night Out event It went great. It was a very hot day. Those of you that were there know that. But it was a ton of fun, and I wanted to give a shout out to Detective Eddings, who was in fact spearheading that event. And he did a great job gathering so many of our different community groups and our schools and our commissions. It was a lot of fun, and the residents that were there got to meet some new people and see all the great things that Redford Township has to offer. So just thank you guys for coming. I know many of you were there.
Thank you. Okay, that ends the citizens' comments. We're going to move on to consent agenda items. Treasurer Kavanaugh.
Thank you, Supervisor McCray. I move to approve the consent agenda items as follows. The minutes of the regular meeting of August 12th of 2025, the warrant list of bills as of August 19th of 2025 in the amount of $8,274,515.74. Police and fire employees OPEB actuarial valuation as of March 31st of 2024. The general employees OPEB actuarial valuation as of March 31st of 2024. The general employees pension actuarial valuation as of December 31st of 2024. Police and fire employees pension actuarial valuation as of March 31st of 2024. The acceptance of a donation from the VFW Auxiliary for National Night Out. Advertisement for bids, Township Initiative Paving Project, Redford Township Secondary Streets, beginning September 4th of 2025 through September 25th of 2025.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Any other questions about this? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next, we move on to old business. Director Mancini.
Good evening, Mr. Supervisor, Honorable Board. I come before you tonight for the second reading of the proposed ordinance amendment for ordinance number 209. I came before you on the meeting at the 12th to get approval for our downtown development plan and TIF plan amendment that was approved, where we also had the first reading of this ordinance. And I'm just here before you to get that approved.
Questions from the board? Hearing none, what's the pleasure of the board?
To the chair,
Trustee Taylor.
I move that we approve the second reading of the proposed amendment to ordinance number 209, the development and tax increment financing plan.
Support.
Been supported by Treasurer Kavanaugh, so the motion is for the approval of the second reading of the proposed amendment to ordinance 209, development and tax increment financing plan. Is there any other discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Trustee King? Absent. Trustee Taylor?
Yes.
Trustee Jackson?
Yes.
Clerk Sanders, yes. Trustee Reese?
Yes.
Treasurer Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Supervisor McCray?
Yes, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Director Bonerack, new business.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Good evening, Honorable Board. First, Treasurer Kavanaugh, I apologize for the tongue twister in the consent agenda, but thank you for letting me put all of these reports in digitally instead of making that packet 300 pages long this week. I really appreciate that. Before you this evening is a resolution to set a solid waste fee assessment for the next 4 years at $207 per year. So going back to 2019, we began setting the rate on a 3-year cycle. And for our new board members, eventually I won't have to keep saying that. We used to do this through a millage. There was a solid waste fee millage that was assessed based on your property value. But property value has absolutely nothing to do with how much trash you may produce at your home. And so that seemed like a really ineffective way to do that and was unfairly possibly penalizing people. Obviously, the most fair way to do it would be to weigh how much trash is generated, but there isn't any way to do that in a community of our size. So that millage expired in 2018, and so it was in 2019 that we began going to an annual fee. And so we decided at that time that the best way to do it was to do it by household. And that's the way we've done it ever since. And so our goal has been to try to levy the same amount for multiple years at a time so that people can get used to that amount and it isn't changing every year. And we weren't doing it in 3-year chunks. I'm recommending a 4-year chunk this time because we have 4 years remaining on our contract with Priority Waste. And so that will take us to the end of that contract and will be a good time to reevaluate it anyway. One of the goals of the last few years has been to build the fund balance in that fund, and on the chart that was in your packets, that's what these percentages are referring to, was the percentage of fund balance relative to the cost for the year. When we started doing this, there was basically nothing there. We wanted to make sure we got to the point where the fund was self-sufficient, because prior to that, the fund was having to borrow from the general fund every month to pay for the trash bill because all the money comes in one time a year. Kind of similar to our situation with property taxes, we have to have that fund balance. So that's all that's referencing, but things have gone really well, and I think that's really modest to be able to say for the next 4 years, it's only a $1 a month increase.
Questions from the board? Well, I think this is a modest increase, and I'm glad we're going with 4 years because it makes sense to align it with when our contract is expiring with the garbage company. So we know what kind of adjustments we need to make at that time.
Right.
So, other questions from the board? Hearing none, what's the pleasure of the board?
To the chair.
Trustee Jackson.
I move for the approval of the resolution establishing solid waste fee for fiscal years 2026 through 2029.
Support. Supported by Trustee Reese. The motion is for approval of the resolution establishing solid waste fee for fiscal years 2026 through 2029. Any other question? Roll call vote.
Trustee Jackson?
Yes.
Treasurer Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Trustee Taylor?
Yes.
Trustee King? Absent. Trustee Reese?
Yes.
Clerk Sanders, yes. Supervisor McCray?
Yes, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Interim Chief Mays.
Good evening, Supervisor McCray, Honorable Board. I want to introduce, if you don't know him already, this is Andrew Thomas. He is the Fire Marshal of the Township in charge of our Fire Prevention Division. He's in charge of, obviously, fire investigations, setting up with our schools during Fire Prevention Week. Also does inspections for our commercial occupancies and code enforcement as well. So wanted to introduce him. He's been on the department for 13 years, the last 10 as fire inspector / fire marshal. He's been a great asset to me in my transition here. And he's going to go over some updates, amendments to Redford ordinances.
Supervisor McCray, Honorable Board, good evening.
Good evening.
The purpose of this request is to obtain approval from the board to amend section 42-51 of the Redford Code of Ordinances. Currently, the adopted code in Redford Township is International Fire Code 2009. I'd like to update that to International Fire Code 2021 edition. The 2009 edition is over a decade old, obviously, and it does not incorporate significant safety updates, modern building practices, or emerging hazard considerations that have been developed over the past decade. Also, the state of Michigan and the Redford Building Department have also adopted the 2021 edition of ICC's associate codes. So that's our request here tonight, is to update this version.
Okay, so AJ, how often should we actually be doing this? Is this a once every decade? I mean, it hasn't been done for a long time, and I don't know how often they update the code.
Yeah, they update every 3 years. For a while, we had the 09 edition, obviously, and the building department was a few years ahead, 2015. The differences between those code versions were not that great. And when there's a difference in the code, you always take the most restrictive version, just to sort of the safest version of that code language. They recently adopted the 2021 edition, looking to match that because of the new emerging technologies like lithium-ion batteries. Those weren't really addressed in the 2015 edition, as well as the emerging cannabis industry. That was not addressed in the 2009 or 2015 edition. And since we have recently adopted new ordinance as well to incorporate those, it's time that we adopt these current versions to address that.
So they only do this once every 3 years, and we may be longer depending on what the update is.
Yeah, and so the ICC came out with 2021, obviously that year, and it wasn't ready to be adopted until earlier this year in 2024. It's just the way they operate. They're still writing the language always. The 2024 version is out currently, and if you look at it, there's still a bunch of sections that say reserved because they're currently writing those codes.
Okay.
Because the way it works, code language always is catching up to technology, right? So I'm sure this next version will probably be adopted, the 2024 version, 3 years from now, probably.
Okay. Questions from the board? Hearing no questions, what's the pleasure of the board?
To the chair.
Trustee Reese.
I move approval of the first reading of the proposed amendment to section 42-51 of the Redford Code of Ordinances to provide for updating to the 2021 edition of the International Fire Code.
Support.
Supported by Treasurer Kavanaugh. Motion is for approval of the first reading of the proposed amendment to section 42-51 of the Redford Code of Ordinance to provide for updating to the 2021 edition of the International Fire Code. Any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Trustee Taylor?
Yes.
Trustee Reese?
Yes.
Trustee Jackson?
Yes.
Trustee King, absent. Clerk Sanders? Yes. Treasurer Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Supervisor McCray?
Yes, motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Director Stokes.
Good evening, Honorable Board. I'm coming before you this evening. Over the past several months, we have talked a lot about the pickleball courts over at Handy Park through our MEDC funding that we received. So working with the Parks Commission, which one of them are here in the audience today, so thank you. They have looked at a lot of the projects within the parks, and one of them is on the agenda today. So we are looking to remove all of the old playground equipment at Claude Ellison Park in the front. A lot of that equipment is extremely old. It's getting pretty worn out. The pads and everything are pretty much need to be replaced. So they thought that since that's our biggest park on the north end, that we would remove all that equipment and put in brand new equipment in that facility, in that area. This will bring new light over to that park and that side of the township as well. So before you is actually the plans. I included all of those with the packet so you can see exactly what they're going to be putting in. This includes a giant tower, includes some different building blocks with the slides included, and then another one that's for smaller ages. And that will all go in that front area, and then we will also add different benches and stuff like that as well. So we are looking for the approval today to contract with We Bill Fund to purchase and install new playground equipment for Claude Ellison Park in the amount of $264,012.70. The majority of this funding will come from our MEDC grant funding that we still have, and then the remainder of that funding will be coming from our 75,600 capital equipment.
Okay. Director Stokes, is this looks at least on paper like it's a larger area than the old one? Or is that gonna,
It's the same.
The same area?
Yeah, so we're gonna remove all the equipment ourselves internally,
Okay.
and then we'll make sure that the area is squared off, or in here it's not squared off. We'll make sure that it's nice and squared off based on the fall area of each of those equipment. And then they will come in, they will install all of the equipment, and they will also blow in the safety surfacing as well at the end. So they are hoping to be able to, if you approve it, have this done by this year, just pending that there's no glitches in the delivery and timetable of that. But from my understanding, that's what they're looking to do.
Questions from the board?
To the chair.
Treasurer Kavanaugh.
Finance Director Conrad.
Yes, Madam Treasurer.
Of the $264,000, how much is coming out of the 756,000?
It is, we have about, I'm sorry, you want me to answer?
Okay,
I'm sorry.
no, that's fine, I just-
So there's about $230,300 left in the MEDC grant. We're just finalizing some bills from that, from the last pickleball stuff.
Okay.
So approximately 30,000.
Yeah.
Will be
34,000.
coming from our
Okay.
capital line, item, which we do have in there.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions from the board?
To the chair.
Trustee Reese.
I'm just curious, the saddle seat angled post, when I look at these, like, 3D renderings, what is that? It's just sort of like out on an island between the areas.
Yep, it's like a saddle seat, and kids sit on it and they can spin.
It
and-
spins,
Yep,
okay.
yep.
It just sort of looks lonely there. But I'm sure that's probably the fall zone is bigger when you're spinning and you launch off, but
Yeah, it is funny, because as we started looking at the play equipment to go in the new recreation facility too, we learned like the fall areas are so huge. And one of the things that we did, the park commission wanted to see like larger equipment at Claude. So we actually swapped out some of the pieces that were filling in those areas to ensure that we got the larger, bigger tower that would accommodate some of our older children.
yeah, that was great. Okay.
To the chair.
Trustee Jackson.
Director Stoltz, what's the timing on this from tearing up the old equipment and getting the new equipment in? Do you have any idea how?
He said about 12 weeks, so that's why I was hoping he could get it in by this time. If not, it would go in first thing in the spring, but we would make sure that we pulled out all of that equipment before obviously the ground froze. And then with the equipment being there, we still want people to be able to enjoy it till the end of the season. It's just time for new play equipment there. So I was told by the manufacturer and the company that he's expecting it to come in between the 12 weeks. So we are hoping that shipping's good, yes.
Director Stokes, how old is the equipment that we're taking on? About.
Over 25 years plus,
So
if not longer.
for those who've been to Claude, there's a lot of people that get out of that equipment of all different ages and sizes. And for that to hold up for 25 years is pretty good.
Yeah, and we've swapped out some components in there to ensure, like we had the climbing nut there, we've swapped that out. But we actually had the company come out that manufactured this equipment, and the cost of like taking pieces off and replacing them was gonna be more expensive than to just redo it. And, then once we replace one piece, we'll have to replace the next in the next couple of years. So he said this was the best option for us.
Great.
Other questions from the board? Hearing none, what's the pleasure of the board?
To the chair.
Treasurer Kavanaugh.
I move for the approval of the contract with We Build Fund to purchase and install new playground equipment at Claude Allison Park in the total amount of $264,012.70 to be paid with the MEDC grant funding and from Fund 101 Capital Equipment.
Support.
Supported by Trustee Reese. So the motion is for approval of the contract with We Build Fund to purchase and install new playground equipment at Claude Allison Park in a total amount of $264,012.70 to be paid with MEDC grant funding and from the 101 Fund Capital Equipment. Any other questions? Roll call vote.
Trustee Jackson.
Yes.
Trustee Reese.
Yes.
Clerk Sanders, yes. Treasurer Kavanaugh.
Yes.
Trustee King, absent. Trustee Taylor.
Yes.
Supervisor McCray.
Yes, motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you. And I just wanted to note too, and I believe you've seen it in your packet, this is through the Sourcewell competitive bid program, so it is competitively bid already. So I just wanted to make note in case anyone's listening as well.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you.
Director Mancini.
Good evening again. I come before you again for an appointment on the Beautification Commission. James Kamensky has expressed an interest to serve on this commission, maybe with a little bit of, encouragement from others on the board. So he's already read the bylaws, which, is a really fun way to start. And he's looking forward to helping, residents and businesses with enhancing the look of the township. Mr. Kamensky is here today, if you guys have any questions. I'm looking for an appointment. It's a 2-year period, which would expire August 31st, 2027.
Okay. Mr. Kaminsky, you want to get there and say a few words?
I'm sorry.
Would you?
Do I want to say a few words? Yeah, I would.
You want to come to the...
Okay. All right.
Yes, I agree. And one of the things would be like approaching businesses to maybe upgrade something, and I would be willing to talk with them, and, we could do this. One of the things I would like to see is the railroad bridge painted. But
good
I
luck.
looked into it,
Yeah,
and
so would we.
I said, if you want it painted, you have to do it. But the federal government says something else. I'll look into it further and then we'll
Okay.
Thank you.
That's great.
To the
So,
chair,
Trustee Taylor.
I move that we approve the appointment of James Kamensky to the Redford Township Beautification Commission with his term ending on August 31st, 2027.
Support.
Been supported by Clerk Sanders. So the motion on the floor is to approve the appointment of James Kaminsky to the Bedford Township Beautification Commission, term ending 8/31/2027. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Hey, announcements from the board. None? Well, I just have a short one. I want to, this is August 26, 1920, it was 105 years ago. The 19th Amendment guaranteeing women the right to vote officially became part of the U.S. Constitution. So good for all of you beautiful ladies out there to have the right to do everything everybody else does. Well, we're working on it. Okay, before we get into that discussion, being no further business, we're adjourned.
That's quick.
Stop voting.
Back it up.
They have to put them on.
Back the bus up.
Get yourself out of that one.